What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Four Score Sports Conference Championship Edition with some other stuff. We're going to throw this a normal sports episode, but we're going to talk about our conference championship picks first. I'm Ryan. I'm joined with Colt.
Yeah, it was good.
Keith.
Zam.
We got Zach,
Um,
Kent, and Caleb.
Uh,
So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I know Kent, he's a little bit busy. He's got some Bengals fan stuff to do. His team's still in it. None of ours are in. But let's go ahead and quickly, so Kent can do his Bengals stuff. He's got a meeting with Burrow later. Joe Burrow. Kent, talk to me. Talk to me.
You can hear me, yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Joe Burrow, more like Joe Shiesty, Joe Get Her Done, Joe Winner. That's Joey Franchise. All those names they fit the bill. But he's been ice cold lately. But like ice cold in the icy way kind of thing, the D-Lo way. Anyways, Jamar had a great game last game. The defense had a great game last game. Jesse Bates showed out. Logan Wilson showed out. DJ Reader had one of the best games of his career. And he is the best nose tackle in the league, like I was saying a couple weeks ago. That's a big reason why we stopped Derrick Henry. We do play the Chiefs this week. It will be a tougher matchup for sure. We did beat them in the regular season, but to do that, it did take Jamar Chase for going 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. So can we get it done this week? I surely hope so. Of course, I got the Bengals winning. I'm not gonna go against them. Give me the Bengals in an absolute shootout. Game of the year, 42-39.
You think
Massive.
it's better than the Bills Chiefs game?
No, I was just messing. But I think it's gonna be high scoring. Don't quote me on 42-39, but I think it will be high scoring. Obviously, both the teams' secondary is not the best. Each of the teams got a star safety, and that's about it. So Cheeto got cooked a couple times last week. I know you guys love him, but he has played really well this season. I really do like him, but he was getting cooked pretty bad last week. But yeah, Eli Apple. I don't know if you guys saw the Twitter rants where he was just calling New Orleans like a crap hole, So that did get a couple teams to hate on us, but yeah. And for the other game, give me the Niners. They beat them 6 times in a row past 3 seasons. So give me Niners. I think that one's gonna be more low scoring. If the Rams can score more than 21, I think they win it, but I don't know if they're going to do that. That Niners defense has been spectacular lately. But yeah, that's all for me. See you guys.
It's flying out to Arrowhead right this second. He's gonna get some.
I gotta go to the team meetings, bro. We're drawing up plays, bro. You're gonna see Joe Burrow with the no look pass, bro. He's gonna look like Mahomes out there.
Oh really? They're gonna switch roles.
Yeah.
I personally am not gonna. I want the Bengals to win so bad. I want them to win the Super Bowl. I've never disliked the Bengals. I loved AJ Green way back in the day. When I remember one play against the Ravens, I think Andy Dalton threw a Hail Mary and then AJ Green. It got tipped and AJ Green caught it. And ever since then, I was like, I like this team. They're cool. And then they were always bad, so I was like, okay. But now they're cool. I don't know. I want the Bengals to win, but I'm gonna have to go with the Chiefs. It's in Arrowhead. We all know Mahomes is damn near perfect in Arrowhead in the playoffs. So I'm not gonna bet against them. Like an experienced Chiefs team that's been to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, going against a team of young guys that has never been to the playoffs. Really, I feel like that's fair. So give me the Chiefs and give me their experience in the first game.
Yeah, so everybody that's watching on YouTube, as you can see, huge Chiefs fan here. Extremely big since day one Chiefs fan. I grew up in Kansas City. My whole family's there, so not even a bandwagon.
Watched Mahomes since college.
Yeah, I watched him since he was at Texas Tech. Before that, I watched him in high school. So no, but actually, I mean, you just don't bet against Mahomes. My guy Keith kind of took the bad side of that this past weekend. I'm not going to go further into that, but he bet against Mahomes, and well, he lost. You don't bet against Mahomes. Mahomes is the GOAT. Tyreek Hill, that guy is a savage. You have to be an absolute maniac to put a peace sign to someone that is in front of you and then end up running by them. You have to be an absolute maniac. That guy is an absolute maniac. The defense against the Bills, I hyped them up against the Bills and said they've been playing better as of late. I know Caleb touched on as well. They've been doing this, they've been doing that. They got their ass lit up. But a lot of that is because they didn't have their leader. They didn't have their safety slash middle linebacker slash edge rusher slash slot corner, Tyron Matthew. If he can go against Cincinnati, I mean, I think that he's just as influential as any defensive player on the football field in the NFL. I'm not saying he's the best, but I think to that unit, he's just as influential to them as he is to anybody else. No hate to Burrow. I think that Burrow did have an extremely overrated game against Tennessee. I don't even think he played that well, but in defense of Bengals fans, I think that it's scary that they were able to beat Tennessee and he didn't play as well as he should have played in a divisional playoff game. You guys know I love Jamar. I hope Jamar has a good game, but ultimately, I want the Chiefs to win. I think the Chiefs will win. I think the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. I want them to win the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna roll with my boy Patty Mahomes. He's never done me wrong. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs.
As most of you guys know, I'm a kind of a situational guy, and ever since Eli Apple was talking his talk against New Orleans, I'm a big believer in manifestation and stuff like that. And he was just talking bad about New Orleans. New Orleans is already going through whatever they're going through with Sean Payton and literally everybody else on the team. So you know what? I think the Bayou people got something for his ass for this game. That man is going to get torched, probably by McCole Hardman or somebody random. Byron Pringle going off for 3 touchdowns or whatever. But regardless, I'm excited to see how what's his name? Whatever Chiefs cornerback is going up against Jamar Chase, and basically we'll see a matchup of him and Tyrann Mathieu. Probably end up being like those mountain goats, just bumping heads. But it'll be a pretty exciting matchup. But ultimately, I think Mahomes has got it. But if he doesn't, hey, man, I doubt it. But we'll see what happens. Crazy things happen.
Yeah, I got you on that one. When I kind of think about this game, I kind of think about, you guys remember those old Sports Nation polls where they used to show the map, the color of it, based on the responses. I kind of imagine this game, the entire country except for just the state, or I guess the 2 states, kind of like Missouri in there, really want the Chiefs to win. But everybody else wants the Bengals to win. They have all the clout right now. But the other thing that I know, you guys know we're betting people. The line on this game is really interesting because, like Kent said, they did play in the regular season, and obviously the Bengals won that game. In that game, the Chiefs were at home 3.5-point favorites. They opened this game at 7.5-point favorites, right? Now, since then, it actually has gone down to, I think, 7. I actually like the Bengals to cover that, but that just shows you how much confidence people have in Mahomes at home in the playoffs. So you got to roll with the Chiefs. The Bengals defense did a good job stopping the run last week, but that's not as much the Chiefs game. Of course, it's not like they can't run the ball. Some of those guys are talented. McKinnon's been playing. Obviously, CH is back now, but they're going to spread them out. It's going to be a high scoring game. And I think the Chiefs got it just because you got to take Mahomes at home.
Obviously, one team has Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league and has been for the past 3 or 4 years. But I've been high on the Bengals this entire year. I'm sticking it out with the Bengals. I picked them to win the division in September. I'm hoping that Jesse Bates, Logan Wills, and all them can actually do something on defense.
Check the 4-score pin tweet, guys. If you guys are wondering how long Caleb at least has been riding the bandwagon. Been a long time.
3-4 when I picked them. No, 3-1. 3-1. Not 3. It was week 4.
Wow. Damn.
But Joe Burrow's not scared. This team is not scared of anybody. And they're going into her head and walking out. And I think the Mahomes family has some bad karma coming to them after, Miss Mahomes dumping that ice cold champagne on all these people in the middle of January. The Bengals and Joe Burrow.
Also, if you guys are listening to this, currently our Joe Burrow shirts are live. The icy Joe Burrow. So by the time you guys are watching this, if you guys want to cop one of those for the game tomorrow, let me know. We'll get those orders out, and then that shirt will be to you as soon as possible. Buy a shirt from us. I think they're cool. The cartoon Joe Shiesty, ice up, 4 to score on it. I think that's cool. Kent needs 3. Said, I'll take it. Yeah. So I'm gonna just recap. I'm gonna roll Kansas City.
KC.
Kansas City.
I'm also on KC.
Cincy.
Kansas City, and wait, you said Cincy or Casey?
I said
I was gonna
Cincy.
say you just complete. Oh yeah.
No,
And
me and
Jeff
Kendrick on
Bengals.
Cincy.
Flip.
Next game we have the 49ers at the LA Rams. This game, third matchup of the year for them, obviously divisional opponents to go to the Super Bowl. This game pretty much has everything you could think. 49ers, obviously. If you faded us on any of either of the 49ers games, you did a great job because every single one of us, none of us picked the 49ers yet. So with that logic, let's go ahead and jump in. And I'm going to say that I'm going to take the 49ers this game, which means that they're probably going to lose. But I'm going to go with the 49ers. They're such a physical football team, and it's hard to beat that. I'm going to say the Lions because I was thinking about Stafford. The Rams are also very good, obviously. We know that they have a lot of the top guys in the league at their positions, and Ramsey, Donald, Stafford's arguably a top 10 quarterback. They have a top, 5 receiving core. Cam Akers looks good, I think. He looks very explosive, very quick, and all that stuff.
Had 2 fumbles last game.
He tried the hardest to lose that game.
Yeah,
he
he tried to
his
lose.
hardest to lose.
I think he looked good when he wasn't fumbling. He looked very, fresh, should I say. All that being said, I do think that the 49ers, I really like if Jimmy G doesn't have to throw for over 250 yards, they're going to win this game. And I think the way they do that is by getting Debo involved, getting Elijah Mitchell involved, and just absolutely running the hell out of the ball to keep time of possession on your side, keep Jimmy G on the field, handing the ball off, keep the Rams defense on the field, get them tired, and keep Stafford off the field, who last week, I think he looked pretty good, especially on that last drive. Cooper Kupp, great catch. Nobody really placed the ball, though, on that one play. I didn't see it. That's my Cowboys thing for the week.
And then another official wearing touched it. It wasn't the umpire.
Oh,
So really, it shouldn't have counted. But it's not.
yeah,
Dallas.
whatever.
It's fine.
Mike McCarthy's staying. It doesn't matter. So, give me the 49ers just because of the pure physicality. They've been to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They did. A lot of guys on their team, they have the experience. They have that kind of stuff, which I think is so important in the playoffs. So give me the Niners.
Yeah, so I think that the Rams arguably have the most talented team in the NFL. I think when you look at position, like just go position by position by position, I don't think that they necessarily have a weak spot. You know what their D line is? Linebacker, Von Miller on the outside.
Super Bowl MVP.
Troy Reader's not terrible. White boy, I mean, he makes tackles. Secondary's good. The offensive line is solid. Brian's touched on the running back group and the wide receiver, Matthew Stafford. They're talented. But I think what needs to be highlighted is even though the Rams are the higher seed, this is by no means a home game at all. The game's in California. Los Angeles is in California. San Francisco's in California. You see what San Francisco did to that stadium in Week 18. It was nothing but red for that home game. Matthew Stafford had the ball late, and he had to call a timeout because he couldn't make the plays because the crowd was so loud. So, and I've read reports that said that they've sold more tickets this time than they did last time. So I saw that the Rams have tried to put a limit on how much that San Francisco can buy. I don't like that. I think that's scared.
They did change that on, I believe, Thursday. I think the
ticket companies they weren't rocking with it.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's just simply not fair. Their previous 2 games against Dallas and Green Bay, you could kind of see them in the crowd and hear them in the crowd. But at the same time, you've got to realize that Dallas and Green Bay are the 2, if not the top 2 home where the fans are going to come support that team, home team. Los Angeles, I don't know. San Francisco, you're going to see it just as many 49er fans are in that stadium as you are Rams fans, 100%. Matthew Stafford has not sold a game yet. He tried his best in the second half against the Bucks. He didn't turn the ball over, but I think he only had 60 yards before that last drive, those 2 passes to Cooper Kupp. This is the game where he sells. He hasn't sold yet. He's going to sell the duffel bag this game, 100%. I love OBJ. Y'all know how I feel about OBJ. God, he's going to go for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. But wide receiver 1 for that team. Cooper Kupp, best wide receiver 2 in the league. Matthew Stafford's going to sell the game. I feel it 100%. Debo, I don't know. It's just something about this Niners team, the swag they have walking out to the big ass boom box, super gremlin, just walking out vibing. I mean, you see that big scary man, Trent Williams in the front with the blacked out visor, walking big ass arms, and it's like, yikes! Like we got to go against these guys. I think Von Miller against Aaron Donald is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting because Von Miller has gotten back to the Von Miller that he was of past in the past couple weeks, playoffs, and the last couple weeks of the regular season. Von Miller's good, and Trent Williams. We know what Trent Williams is. Trent Williams is the best tackle in the NFL. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. Best tackle in the NFL. Monster of a dude. I'm glad Washington fucked that up. Thank you, guys. But, yeah, I'm going to roll with the Niners. Jimmy, like Ryan said, Jimmy G just can't be in a situation where he's in the shotgun and has to drop back and pass the ball. If you're the Rams, that's what you want ultimately. Debo has looked good against Dallas. He's looked good against the Packers. I know he'll look good against the Rams. He lit them up week 18. I'm looking for Kittle to do something. Kittle is a top 3, top 2 tight end, whatever you want to call it. He didn't do nothing against Dallas, which I told you he won't want to do anything against Dallas because that's a tough matchup for him. The Packers didn't do anything. Conditions, okay. We're in sunny Los Angeles. You need to do something. Like Ken said, they beat him the last 6 times. I know it's hard to beat a team 7 times in a row, especially a divisional opponent that you see 2 times a year. I'm going to roll with the 49ers, though. I think that they've just got a certain swag about them, kind of how you guys feel about the Bengals. I just think they have a certain swag about them. They're playing the right way. Ryan said they're hard-nosed. I knew they were going to go into Green Bay and punch them in the mouth. I didn't think they'd win, but I knew that they were built for that type of weather, if that makes sense. But I'm going to roll with the Niners. I'm not gonna fade them again.
Yeah. So one thing that it just feels like a fever dream at this point. Caleb sent me a TikTok of when the Chiefs and the Niners played in the Super Bowl. That does not feel real to me at all. Like, I swear I do not remember the 49ers going to the Super Bowl since Colin Kaepernick, I believe. And then he sent me that, and it just made sense. And, of course, with February and March, we were, like, all in the house. So I guess it's supposed to be the Chiefs and the 49ers again to make the world back normal. But I don't see it. I believe in my quarterback's bestie, Matt Stafford, to make something happen. Granted, that 49ers defense is nasty. And DeMeco Ryans is going to go far as they let him. That man has been on point the entire season. He was actually on point as a player, and he's on point as a coach. But I think the Rams will pull through. I mean, I don't think they put up as much points as they did on the Buccaneers, but I still think the Rams end up pulling one out, and Matt Stafford finally gets his Super Bowl visit this year. So we got the Rams.
That you can take the Stafford out of Detroit, but you can't take the Detroit out of Stafford to go along with Colt's point. He's going to sell.
He might sell. That wouldn't surprise me against that defense, but he has got him this far. Give him credit. Like, he really did try to lose that game last week. But, I saw a tweet the other day that I think is interesting, and it kind of speaks to how talented the Rams are. It's, if the Rams end up like going to the Super Bowl or potentially winning the Super Bowl, I think there's going to be a lot more guys in the NFL that are trying to get traded around and things like that. Because the Rams have pretty much laid out that blueprint where they value established NFL talent more than they do these draft picks, and it's working for them. I mean, like, you can't blame them. I mean, they have the coaching staff and they have the roster. but they've struggled with the 49ers. Stafford looked bad in both games actually against them. They turned him over 4 times in the 2 games this regular season. But like Colt said, it's really difficult to lose to a team that many times in a row. And when they're more talented like this, I don't know exactly what's going to end up happening with the whole fan situation. I know that was a big conspiracy and everything, but I think the Rams are just the better team. And I think Stafford gets to the bowl this time. I think they win this game at home. Well, at home, but I think they win the game.
I did a whole lot of San Francisco hating because I'm a Dallas fan and they made me very upset for the past 2 weeks. I'm done disrespecting that team. They're loaded. They can get pressure with 4. They can get pressure with 3. They can drop 8 guys into coverage and be just fine getting pressure to the quarterback. Y'all touched on a lot of Jimmy G and George Kittle and Aaron Donald. I'm thinking a lot more on the 49ers defense is going to win this game. That 49, Fred Warner running around and Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa running around. I think they win it on defense. Also, very similar to Patrick Mahomes situation. Miss Stafford has been buying tickets to give away to Rams fans so that they can have more Rams fans because they're scared of the 49ers faithful. And for that reason, the 49ers taking the win.
How many tickets do you think she bought?
Probably a lot.
But like you think like 100 tickets is a lot, but that's only 100 fans out of.
Yeah, it's not gonna make a difference.
Yeah,
How many
I feel
people fit
like
next
she
to
bought a lot. Well,
You know what I mean
Matthew
though?
Stafford signed like a $30 million deal before he got in the league. So I
Yeah,
think
but
they're doing
100
pretty good
tickets.
financially.
100 tickets to the NFC Championship in Los Angeles.
They're probably all standing room.
That's
Like
it.
Fair,
about the
yeah.
500 section in the ceiling.
In the ceiling.
Going
Damn.
on the roof.
But yeah. All right. So just to recap that, I'm rolling San Fran.
San Fran.
Rams.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams as well.
And for
San Fran. There we go. And there's our conference championship picks. And again, if you're looking for one of those icy Joe Burrow shirts, let us know. We'll get you one. Let's move on. NBA. The NBA, the All-Star teams were announced. Obviously, we haven't been that much into NBA lately, but there's one big thing that you don't really even need to watch the NBA to be like, Andrew Wiggins. The starters of the West, who are they? There's Steph, Ja,
LeBron.
LeBron,
Jokic.
Jokic, and Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins.
Personally, I don't even think Wiggins was the best person on his team that could have had that role. I do think Draymond might have deserved the starting nod. None of them, neither one of them do, but I think Draymond should have been more into consideration. I've seen a lot of stuff where it's talking about the fan vote versus the player vote and then the media vote. And some of the guys that got a very high percent of the, I believe it was the player vote, were like guys like Miles Bridges, DeJounte Murray, guys like that. And then people that are getting all the fan vote, but none of the media or player vote are guys like Luca and like these guys that are struggling, Wiggins, these guys that are kind of struggling for their say, like Lillard. He was still getting votes, even though he hasn't even played in.
Oh,
Yeah,
surgery.
how long?
Ernie Simon taking over.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
So I don't know. So I do want to get into within the All-Star game. What do you guys think the voting should be like? Should fans have more say? Should the players have more say, or the media?
I've made my opinion voice in the group chat. The fan vote should have a 0% impact on the All-Star voting. If you want to make it 5%, just so they feel like they have involve a participation, I don't care about 5%. But if it were up to me, they wouldn't have any participation. This isn't in the most respectful way possible. This isn't vote who you want to see game. This is the NBA All-Star game, as in the players that have played, they have earned themselves as All-Stars and deserve the spot should be playing in that game. It should be the best players in the NBA going against each other. This isn't, I want to see him play, so I want him to play. I want to see him play, so let's put him play. That's not what this is. This isn't a fantasy team. That's not what this is. This is the All-Star game. So I think that it should have a 0% impact. I don't think that Wiggins should have been a starter. I don't think Wiggins should have been an all-star. So the fan vote is what made him an all-star starter. It was what's going to make him an all-star player. The fan vote has 50% vote. That is absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that a fan should have as much impact as the media and player combined. That's absolutely ridiculous. Guys, that Caleb gave me a hard time because I'm a Minnesota fan and my guys don't get love. But really, it's not just Minnesota. It's guys that play for smaller market teams that just aren't simply going to get love because they play for smaller market teams. And I'll bring up one guy that Ryan just touched on, just said his name. If DeJounte Murray is not an all-star, then it is an absolute disgrace. DeJounte Murray is averaging like 19, 8, and 9. He's almost averaging a triple-double.
He's efficient as hell, too.
He's the reason
And a
he's
great
the
defender.
he's the reason that the Spurs are in the playoff hunt. He's first team all defense. So I'm just looking at the thing, and I'm looking at the guys that haven't been selected yet, and I'm looking at the fan vote having as much say as it does. DeJounte Murray's not going to make the All-Star game because guys like Chris Paul, guys like Devin Booker, guys like Donovan Mitchell, they're going to get those spots over him in the backcourt. And that's absolutely ridiculous. I can name 10 guys in the West that deserved it over Andrew Wiggins. And that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm a Minnesota fan, and I'm not saying that Anthony Edwards should have started, and I'm not saying that Anthony Edwards, I honestly don't think that Anthony Edwards should be an All-Star this year. I think it's close. I think that he's maybe the first or second guy left off. But if you look at Anthony Edwards' stats, he's missed one less game, and it has more points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. He's been better, way better, on the offensive end and defensive end. So I'm just saying, like, what do you want? I don't know. That's my little rant. I know that I care more simply because I'm a fan of a smaller market team, but it's guys like the Spurs. It's guys like De'Aaron Fox for the Kings. It's guys like Darius Garland for the Cavs. I think Darius Garland maybe should have been a starter, but it's just guys like that for smaller market team. Like it's gonna tend towards the big names, the big markets, guys like that. So that's just my little rant. I don't think it should have a 0% impact. You're gonna give them maybe 5 to feel like the fans have a say. Go for that, but it's absolutely ridiculous.
You can even make it the most fan votes in the front court West makes it no matter what. Backcourt West.
I don't know. I think if anything, like if the only thing the fans should have any sort of vote on, just because like I've noticed a trend, these jerseys are kind of trash. So if they had like a set of jerseys, let the fans pick the jerseys because
Do that.
fans ends up buying the jerseys. But I'm with Cole on that one because I remember, they have the little NBA polls and saying like, who do you want to see in the All-Star game? And like I noticed DeJounte Murray has been killing it, and nobody has been saying anything. We just see that, the Spurs won a game, and like nobody knows on the Spurs except for DeJounte Murray and I guess Derek White if you follow him like that. But he's right as far as with the smaller market teams. I mean, nobody on my team deserves to be on the All-Star game at all, but it's all good. But yeah, this whole thing with fan votes, I didn't even know it had 50%. And I'm pretty sure I saw something that said I hate Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen had 2 player votes. Keep that in mind. And then I think Ben Simmons had 2 player votes. So you kind of have to, I mean, even though the players play with, they play against each other, and they can see who belongs in the All-Star game. But I guess you have to keep in mind people that are kind of petty or whatever. Like maybe they voted for themselves. I don't know.
I mean, you got to remember, not too long ago, literally fucking Zaza Pachulia had the 3rd most votes. He had more votes than LeBron at one point.
That Bay Area is crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
in Golden State bandwagon, obviously,
Yeah.
they were
The
just
fact
trying to get
that,
the whole starting 5 from Golden State in there.
The fact that Wiggins made it says a lot about the Golden State, the Bay Area fans. So
Didn't David Lee made it? I mean, he actually was pretty good that year, but he made it one year. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they should take. I mean, they can't take fans out of the equation because, of course, they need the money.
What?
But I honestly, like, if they had like fan submissions for jerseys and stuff, I would be all for that.
Bro,
like,
what if they even let the fans vote on, like, you pick all the eligible guys for the 3-point contest, you vote on the 8 guys you want to see in that. The skill competition, you vote for however many guys in the front court and back court, like all the eligible guys that want to do it, the dunk contest. You think that the fans wouldn't pay attention to the dunk contest more if they got to pick who was in it? Like nobody wanted to see fucking Henry Diallo or whatever.
no one's watched that.
But at
No
the
one's
same
watched
time,
this
I would
shit.
say it's a little harder to do that because so many guys denied the invitation. Like Anthony Edwards, like they asked him on a podcast the other day, "Would you ever do it?" He said, "I'm an in-game dunker. Sorry, I'm never gonna do it."
That's the
So-
thing. All the eligible guys that said like, yeah, I'll do it. You know, like
Fair enough.
you put LeBron on that thing one time, everyone's always wanted to see LeBron in the dunk contest ever
He's
since.
probably been asked every year, multiple times. But
He's gonna say no every year, but still, that 1 year where he's on the ballot, just imagine how insane that goes. Social media would light
they
up.
were past that.
And it would be
point now.
the most watched dunk
37.
contest ever.
Oh yeah,
like-
for sure. But shout out LeBron making an All-Star team again. Year 17, 18. It's a lot. He's 37 years old. My boy, Goat James. 19.
19, LeBron. Don't you love the thing? Isn't he hurt right now?
I think he's
He was
low,
hurt
man.
recently.
Honestly,
Yeah.
He didn't play last night, so yeah.
he didn't play the game before either.
Zach, what do you think about the All-Star selections?
I mean, I think that the problem is, like you said, the idea of fan voting is never going to go away. It's not like they don't know that that's a problem. And like Colt was kind of explaining, if the goal is to get the best players in the league in the All-Star game, then they would have got rid of fan voting already. Like everybody knows that that's not what happens. The same kind of thing, like you said, for small market teams happens in the MLB All-Star game when fans start voting. I mean, like that's why you're never going to see a Ray be one of the final 5 guys voted in. That's never going to happen.
Roldis Chapman.
No, I'm saying like, it's just not going to happen. So I like kind of how Keith mentioned, like potentially getting them involved in some of the things that aren't as important as actually getting an all-star nomination. A lot of guys have contract things like tied into their contract talking about, oh, you get a $500K, whatever, $1 million bonus if you get selected to all-star team. For example, you're a DeJounte Murray and you're sitting here, we're like, fuck, like I'm having this season, I'm doing what I need to do. And the fans screwed me over. I don't know. I think that they probably thought about it a lot. They need to get involved in other ways, but simply it's just evident to me that the league doesn't care about getting the best guys in, and that it's just that simple.
Care about getting the popular guys in. You're gonna sell a lot more Wiggins All-Star jerseys than you will DeJounte Murray. You know,
What? I don't know.
Wiggins.
It's
Golden
just because
State-
of the Bay Area.
Bay Area. You gotta
Man.
look.
Oh, yeah, never
He was the
mind.
#1 pick. All that stuff. Everyone's kind of rooting for him because there was a point where he very
I'm not
well-
rooting for his ass. Fuck Andrew Wiggins. I have no love for Andrew Wiggins. Not a single bit of love.
The worst part is he's the top 3 players in Timberwolves, top 4 player in Timberwolves history.
I wouldn't even say that. I put Jimmy
Garnett,
Butler.
Towns,
I put Jimmy Butler.
Kevin
above him.
Love. Oh, Jimmy Butler, the
Yeah.
only MVP vote
Oh,
outside of
He put
KD.
Sam Cassell over Andrew
Sam
Wiggins.
Cassell.
I'll say because this topic is about the All-Star selections. The rest of the West I didn't have a problem with. I agree with it. Curry and Ja, obviously. LeBron, obviously. Joker, obviously. That's fine. In the East, Giannis, obviously. Embiid, obviously. DeRozan, obviously. KD, obviously. Point guard Trae Young, I'm okay with it. I would have went Darius Garland, but I'm a Darius Garland fan. I would have went Garland just because where he has the
We
Cavs
fucks with
at.
him.
But if you would have went Levine, Young, or Garland, I don't have an issue with it. Levine and Garland will be the starting backcourt for the reserves. So I honestly don't. And like Caleb said, I care more about this because I'm a Timberwolves fan, and that was literally Karl Anthony Towns' spot. That's why I'm as upset as I am, is because it was his spot. I mean, either him or Rudy Gobert. If Rudy Gobert would have got it, I would have had no problems. But it was Cat's spot. That's why I'm so upset about it. But it is what it is.
All-Star game is what, like 2 weeks from now,
Something
give or
like that.
take. So that would be cool. I personally, I really do like the NBA All-Star game. I think it's cool watching these guys, especially with the draft. I do believe that the draft is better than East versus West in every
Yeah.
sport. I believe even when the NFL was doing that, like 8-9 years ago, Team Dion versus Team Jerry or whatever it was.
They're doing that again this year, I think.
Good. But
Not
drafting is cool because you get to see a bunch of these guys that would never play. Like LeBron would have gone against Kobe, in theory. That you know what I mean? Or could have been on the same team as Kobe. Like, you know what I mean? That would have been really cool to see one time in our life, even if it's an All-Star game. So I do think the draft. I think the draft is cool. I think that makes it more interesting. And I also like the point system they do, where in the fourth quarter, whoever's up at the end of the third add 24. Then it's competitive. I really like that. The Kobe Bryant rule for the All-Star game. I do like that. See a lot more defense. And I remember what was it last year, Anthony Davis, or 2 years ago? Anthony Davis nailed those free throws at the end of the game to win it, right?
Yeah, last year it was a close.
Mm-hmm.
It was a blowout.
Yeah.
Team LeBron, LeBron doing what LeBron does. His team winning
Unusual.
big. No big surprise. No big
G and
surprise
LeBron.
there.
All-Star game, championships. But no, that's cool. I like the All-Star game. All-Star games are cool to me. I really enjoy those. If the players get in that deserve to get in. Obviously, there's going to be a few snubs every sports league every year. But speaking of All-Star snubs, hockey, NHL, the Hurricanes. I know Hurricanes are absolutely tearing it up right now. I know Aho's an All-Star. Is Anderson an All-Star?
Yeah. Freddie's an All-Star this year. So the just for the NHL All-Star weekend, it's actually like the All-Star break for them is this upcoming week. After you guys listen to this, it'll be like that following week. What they do in that, so they break it up into 4 different teams instead of 2, and basically the only rule really is that each team in the NHL has to have 1 player on the team. So that causes kind of a similar conflict where those teams like aren't actually the best players in the NHL. I mean, like it's as close as possible, but there's a couple guys that just, for example, like the best player on some of the shittiest teams in the league, like you're looking at like a Detroit or like a Buffalo or something like that. Like one of those guys is simply not better than the second best player on like the Canes or a Florida or a team that's really balling this year. So I mean, there's always going to be a couple guys that get left off, but coming into the half season mark of the NHL, the Canes are balling. Like you said, Brendan Moore actually is coaching the
Shout out Brendan
our
Moore.
divisions. Yeah, shout out Brendan Moore dropping the puck yesterday for the Ice Pack. Big win. Also shout out G Money. Fresh out turning 21, he goes out and gets a couple Genos in front of the boys.
G Money.
That was cool.
A 5-point game, by the way, for NC State Ice Pack hockey. That's a hometown friend. So good for him. 5 points is insane at any level.
He was
2
going
goals,
crazy.
I'll take it.
He was going crazy. But yeah, man. Brendan Moore's coaching the team for the All-Star week. The NHL All-Star weekend is kind of cool. It's a little bit more loose, kind of like the NBA. They don't really, of course, try as hard. It's a little bit, high scoring, kind of fun, fast paced for sure. It's something to watch. They do a lot of cool like skill competitions and stuff, like hardest slap shot and shit like that, to get like more casual fans interested because it's kind of cool to see. But yeah, no, it's kind of like the halfway mark in the NHL. It's when they do the break. Eastern Conference teams for the playoffs are pretty much already locked up.
Yeah.
It's
I saw,
a really clear top tier versus bottom tier. So
I saw this one graphic, and it was like, I think that the last playoff team has like an 89% chance already or something like that to make the playoffs.
yeah,
That's fucking
Yeah.
insane. For people
Yeah.
that don't get it, that's essentially like, are the Lakers the 8 seed right now?
No, they lost last night. Then the 9 seed.
Well, essentially, it's equivalent to the Lakers having an 80% chance of making the playoffs right now already. That's insane because the Lakers realistically probably have what, a 50-ish, give or take, statistically chance,
Somewhere around there.
and they're not even in the playoffs. It's so
yeah,
top.
you're right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
top
it's really
heavy.
just gonna come down to trying to get like home ice. Like, I mean, the playoff teams are already pretty much solidified, so yeah, I don't know. It's not as interesting, I guess. There's not gonna be any like close races talking about like are they gonna make it or not because we already know who. So like I said, it's just gonna be about getting the higher seeds, trying to get a couple more home games.
Exactly. If you want to transition in a little bit of women's basketball, right now we have a men's game on in the background. We have Duke versus Louisville. It's going into half. It's 37-35 Duke. Duke's blown a decent sized lead so far. But I want to transition into women's basketball. NC State women's basketball, obviously you guys know, they've been tearing it up. They play Carolina. If you guys are watching this on Saturday, they play Carolina on Sunday. So that'll be a huge game. Carolina's a great team. Obviously, they came in to Raleigh about 3 weeks ago, into the small gym, Reynolds Coliseum, and got their ass absolutely blown out. Obviously, our people are doing phenomenal. The whole team is. Elise is starting to come into her own. We see that she's projected a top 5 pick already at this point, which is awesome for her. Really, it's just one of those things like, does the team need a 4 or 5? whoever has the first pick, second pick, whatever team needs a 4 or 5, she's gonna go. So we're really proud of her. Hopefully we can have Elisa on the show soon. Obviously, season's going on. We don't want to irritate that. That's obviously way more important. She's got her whole life ahead of her with this, with her basketball. So obviously, not trying to cause any distractions. But yeah, that's really all I've got. Baseball's still in a lockout. Nothing's really happened in baseball, I don't think. Right?
Shout out to David Ortiz though.
Shout out
Oh, yeah.
to the GOAT. Shout out to the GOAT. David Ortiz, the greatest designated hitter ever. First
whole-
ballot, 3-time World Series champ, got us out of the curse of Bambino. Shout out to David Ortiz. And shout out to the Minnesota Twins for letting us get him for a 1-year, $1 million deal. Thank you, Minnesota. Another reason to give love to Minnesota. Shout out to David Ortiz, my favorite player ever, my childhood hero. I did so many school projects on him. I would find a way to make it happen. Whether the subject was idol, foreign country. I did one for Spanish class for Dominican Republic for Mr. Ortiz. I love that man. First ballot Hall of Famer. Well deserved. Literally deserved it. If you think he didn't deserve it, respectfully, I'm sorry to everyone on here that is younger, but you can suck my dick. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's that simple. I'm sorry Clemens didn't get in. He probably deserved it. Schilling probably deserved it, and Bonds probably deserved it. They definitely deserve to get in. Hopefully they'll get in with the USA Today vote. Hopefully they get in with that. But with that being said, David Ortiz definitely did deserve it. I think, and this is the last I'll say about it, and this is actually me being serious. It kind of sucks because everybody is more worried about Bonds and Clemens and Schillings not getting in. So it's kind of taking the credit away from David Ortiz. Like, oh, if they didn't get in, then why is Ortiz in? Come on, bro, don't do that. Ortiz is the first ballot Hall of Famer. He deserved it. We all know that. But at the same time, Bonds and them deserve to get in as well.
As a diehard, literally wearing Yankees hoodie right now, David Ortiz 150% deserves to make the Hall of Fame. I've watched him play a lot of games. He's a
project.
He has. Can you hear?
Now,
Quiet.
Hold on. Let me.
Colt
About
Burkett.
that. Is that good?
yeah, he put the whole mic in his mouth and
My fault.
Well, but
Thanks,
anyways,
Anthony.
that man has so many clutch moments. Yeah, he was a DH, but that's the role he was asked to play on his team. Maybe he wasn't really asked. It was probably like I'll do it. You know? Okay, I don't have to play defense for the rest of my life. Defense is
Yeah.
fucking boring in baseball. All you do is stand there, and then the ball gets hit to one of the 9 people. If not, doesn't even get hit to anyone. And then, defense is boring as shit. So David Ortiz was just in there, munching on a Hot Pocket, eating some seeds, going out there, going 1 for 3 every night with a dinger and a walk. So he deserved to make it. Bonds, he deserves it. Clemens, they deserve to make it. Yes, steroids suck. Like the whole stigma around them. But at the same time, as a pitcher, I do believe it's different because that's physical strength in that sense.
Yeah.
But every MLB player can hit the baseball out on any pitcher. And it just, you still got to hit the ball. You still have to get the correct angles on it. You still have to be able to read the pitch. There's still so many things that go into hitting. And yeah, you're a little bit stronger. Okay, maybe those pop-ups or those little bloopers turn into wall shots. I don't know. But I personally don't care that much about steroids. It's more fun to watch people hit home runs, especially to the casual fan. Nobody wants to sit there and watch a 1-0 baseball game. Everyone wants to watch like a 6-5, 6-4 type of game that has, a few doubles, a home run here and there, some good base running. It's fun to watch that stuff. Look at Trey Turner. He's one of the most most loved players by the fans because he's so damn fun to watch. So damn fun. He's great on defense, which obviously is boring as hell. He's fast as hell. Arguably the best base runner in the league. Great hitter. It's more fun to watch guys that do stuff all the time. And if steroids do that, I'm sure that there's a lot of other shit that's being taken. Spider tack, I think, is significantly worse than steroids.
Is Barry Bonds is the leader in home runs all time, right?
All time.
And not in the Hall of Fame.
And Roger Clemens has 7 Cy Young awards. And if you guys don't know, in baseball, Cy Young is essentially the MVP of pitching for that season. Roger Clemens has 7 of those awards, and I believe the next closest is
That's
Nolan
more
Ryan.
than anybody has.
Like 3 or
Nolan
4.
Ryan has 3 or 4, and then it's Roger Clemens in first place with 7.
Red Sox legend Roger
Yankees
Clemens.
legend Roger
Red Sox
Clemens.
legend. He is a Red Sox. Red Sox legend Roger Clemens.
Yankees. But yeah, that's my thing with that. I think they should be in there.
Shout out to
I
Big
think they
Poppy
should
though.
Yeah, shout out David Ortiz. He
Yeah.
deserves that shit big time.
You know, Ortiz is kind of the reason I fell in love with the Red Sox. And back in like 2004, I could barely remember anything, but I do remember cheering for the Red Sox. You know, me being not left-handed, I tried to hit left-handed. I tried to be a DH in the rec league. I wore number 34. Like me and
Tried
Dave
to
Ortiz
be a
had the same
DH?
birthday.
In the rec league.
Right, rec league all-stars. I tried to be DH.
At
They wouldn't let me. I tried to
age
hit
6, you're
left-handed.
asking to DH and shit. I love it.
Sorry, it's already asking DH.
You're done with defense, bro. You're done with that shit.
Exactly. But
Take
me
one
and Dave
ground
Ortiz
ball
had the
to
same birthday.
on the field.
He's like, so I love Big Poppy, favorite player of all time, without a doubt. I watched him, you know, kick some Yankees ass for a long time, so I'm glad he actually gets to be a first ballot.
I watched that too. I did watch him kick some Yankee ass. I watched Jeter kick some Red Sox ass too. So
Well, I watched Ortiz, you know, come back 3-0 against 3 Yankees. So
David
I get
Ortiz
the
did
future
historically own the Yankees. That is not a myth. He owned
flat out.
that team. He
I
owns
hated
that franchise.
I couldn't stand every time he hit it. I just knew it was a home run.
Sometimes people say that Cashman is the owner. No. David Ortiz is the owner of that fraudulent franchise. But no, he's the clutchest
Do
hitter
y'all
of all
remember?
time. Go.
If you guys have ever seen what in the NFL what Deshaun Jackson does in a revenge game or in an NFC East game, that's what David Ortiz did his whole career for the Red Sox against the AL East, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was just
Was
a
it
Deshaun
against,
Jackson revenge game every game.
Was it against Tampa when he beat the hell out of that phone? Or was that again? I think he got pissed off at an umpire and he beat the hell out of the phone and started throwing water coolers and shit.
Oh yeah, that was like
You know what you're
2013
talking
or some shit. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a very vivid memory. It was one of the few baseball games I watched that year. But love Big Poppy, the GOAT.
When I think David Ortiz, the biggest thing I think, obviously I think of him spitting on his gloves. I think of that, but I also think of that home run against the Tigers, right? Where was it Torrey
Yeah.
Hunter?
It was a grand slam.
Over the wall.
He fell over
Yeah.
the wall.
Yeah.
Torrey Hunter.
Angels legend.
Torrey Hunter.
Legend.
Don't ever forget that. But yeah, that's shout out David Ortiz.
Go.
But yeah. You guys have anything else before we hop off? Nope. Keith, you got anything?
I was just randomly thinking about how in high school Jock Peterson had more receiving yards than Devontae Adams. That was kind of wild. I'm also excited to see how this whole coaching circus lands different players. I'm excited. Honestly, I'm ready for football season to end, just because, damn, it's been a minute. I'm kind of just ready to watch one sport at a time. But besides that, everything's good. It's cold out, so keep your loved ones close and tell them you love them, just like I will tell you I love you right now. Buy the shirts. Buy one for yourself. Buy one for your friend. And go Rams. That was it.
Come on, Zach. What you got for us?
I'll just say this. I'm looking forward to a good weekend of football. Hopefully, I guess a good Sunday. Hopefully the Bengals win so we can peer pressure Kent into doing some funny shit for content. He's gonna have the shirts, obviously, like Keith just plugged in. Buy them for your friend, buy them for your friend's friend. Your mom would look fantastic in a Joe Burrow shirt.
Hell yeah. Get your grandma one, get your aunt
I'm
one,
saying.
get your cousin one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, Caleb.
Like Keith said, this has been a long season. A lot's going on. We only got a couple more weeks left, and then we jump into the off season. I'm ready for the off season. As a Cowboys fan, I'm ready to see what we do. Again, buy the shirts, buy the merch. We got a lot more coming. Follow the socials. Shout out Raise Energy, keeping me alive.
Oh,
We
yeah.
love you.
Dang, did you not sleep?
Not really.
Shout out Rays, man, keeps you up. Thank you guys so much for listening. You guys want a shirt? DM us Instagram. If you have our numbers, text, Snapchat, whatever you guys got to do to get in communication, do that. And then let us know. We'll get those shirts out as fast as we can. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next one.